There's nothing quite like the illusion of progress, is there? We all know someone, maybe it's you, maybe it's me, who's always on the move, always doing something, the kind of person who's so busy that they barely have time to breathe, yet somehow, despite all the effort, they seem to be stuck. In Pindar's poetic terms, they're digging in the bowels of the earth. Yeah, they're working hard, all right. But for what? To uncover some profound truth? Some great insight? Or are they just looking for the next meaningless thing to obsess over? Here's the tragedy: while they're so busy, they're going nowhere. They're wandering in circles, as if somehow the more they move, the closer they'll get to something, anything. But no, they're lost. The more they do, the less they achieve. And yet, they keep going, tirelessly chasing after a life that keeps slipping away from them. They look around at others, trying to guess what their neighbors are thinking, hoping for clues to a life better lived. But deep down, they already know what's missing. They just don't want to admit it. Funny thing is, they've already got what they're searching for. They don't need to dig or guess or compare. It's there, inside of them, waiting patiently while they squander their time chasing shadows. The divine, that quiet part of ourselves that knows better, that holds the answers to the big questions we refuse to ask. But we ignore it. Who needs inner peace and wisdom when you can busy yourself with constant distractions? We don't want to confront the truth because, deep down, we know we're avoiding it. Imagine this: instead of endlessly toiling and chasing, what if we just stopped? What if we turned our attention inward and gave true devotion to the divinity within? But, oh right, that sounds hard. That sounds like it might take effort. It would mean tuning out the noise, letting go of the obsessions, and focusing on what really matters. And we can't have that, can we? Not when there's so much more pointless work to be done, so many more things to crave, so many more people to impress. And then, of course, there's lust. Not just in the obvious way, though, sure, that's part of it, but in the deeper sense. Lust for more. Lust for recognition, for possessions, for validation. Oh, how we crave it. It's the great motivator, the fuel that keeps us chasing after the next shiny thing. Because maybe, just maybe, that next thing will be the one that fills the emptiness. But it never does it? No matter how much we accumulate, how much approval we seek, we're still left feeling hollow. Here's the punchline: that endless craving. It's exactly what keeps us from finding what we really need. It contaminates the soul, blinds us to the divine within. It's like pouring mud into a clear spring and then wondering why the water's dirty. But we don't stop. We never stop. We can't. We're too busy chasing, consuming, comparing. Because if we stop, if we let go of the distractions, then we'd have to confront the truth. And who's ready for that? You'd think we'd know better by now. You'd think that with all the striving, we'd eventually figure out what really matters. But no. Instead, we spend our lives focusing on the wrong things. We chase after the material, the shallow, the temporary, and all the while, the things that actually matter, the things that come from God, from the divine, go unnoticed. It's almost laughable, isn't it? The things we most need don't even cost anything. They require no effort, no struggle, just a little reverence and attention. But who has time for that? Instead, we chase after what other humans offer. And what do they offer, really? Ignorance, mostly. Not intentionally, of course. But that's the thing. People are so busy trying to figure out their own lives that they don't even know what's good for them, let alone for anyone else. And yet, we listen. We take their opinions to heart. We let their judgments shape our lives. It's like trusting a blind person to lead you through a maze. But hey, at least we're all in the dark together, right? Here's where things get truly depressing. Most people don't even realize they're lost. They stumble through life, confident in their flawed perceptions. Sure, they've got it all figured out, but they're fumbling in the dark, unable to see the light, unable to distinguish between what's real and what's an illusion. And the saddest part, they think they're wise. They think they're making progress, moving forward, achieving something. But really, they're just digging themselves deeper into the same pit. And we follow them. We let their ignorance become our guide. We listen to their advice, their opinions, and in doing so, we lose sight of our own truth. We let go of our connection to the divine, the part of us that knows better, and we wander along with them, digging and digging, hoping to strike gold. But all we find is more dirt, more confusion, more disappointment. The tragedy of it all is that it doesn't have to be this way. The divinity within us, the thing that could guide us, save us from this endless wandering, it's right there. It's always been there. But we refuse to see it. We refuse to honor it. Why? Because it's easier to be distracted. It's easier to chase after the next goal, the next shiny object, than to sit with ourselves and face the truth. We'd rather be busy, even if that busyness leads us nowhere, than to confront the fact that we've been wandering in place all along. It's almost a comedy, really. We waste our lives searching for meaning, for purpose, for some grand revelation, and all the while the answers are right in front of us. But instead of looking inward, we look outward. We focus on others, on their thoughts, their actions, their judgments, as if their lives hold the secret to our own happiness. But here's the twist: they don't. They're just as lost as we are. But hey, why bother with self-reflection? Why waste time nurturing the divine within when there are so many other things to chase after? Why listen to that quiet voice of wisdom when the noise of the world is so much louder, so much more enticing? After all, being busy is the ultimate badge of honor, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you're going nowhere, as long as you look like you're doing something important. So, keep digging, keep wandering, keep chasing. Because at the end of the day, the only thing worse than being lost is realizing you've been lost the whole time. But maybe, just maybe, there's another way. Maybe instead of wandering, we could finally stop. Maybe instead of looking outward, we could turn inward. Maybe instead of digging in the dirt, we could finally start to rise. But that's a lot to ask, isn't it?